Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. And today we will explore a very important time in our national history, the national awakening of Indonesia. It's the moment when our ancestors start to unite as one people with one dream, freedom. So let me ask you: Have you ever heard organization like Budi Utomo or Sarekat Islam? Have you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what is it?
Uh,
Kidding, please.
like organization, sir,
Yeah.
to make irrigation of Indonesia.
And what do you think they do in our history? War or something? Did you know anyone who want to help Gary?
Sorry, sir, I have no idea.
How about you, Rafa?
I think they gather the people in some area and then they teach.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good answer. Thank you for the answering, Rapli. Give applause, Rafa. And now I want to explain our topic today. The National Awakening of Indonesia as a Kebangkitan Nasional Indonesia. This was when Indonesia first began to feel like one nation. It started in the early 1990s, when people began organizing for education, social change, and labor independence. This is our major turning point in our journey as a country. And before that, I want you to watch this. What the hell is this? Sorry. Please listen carefully. You know that person?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Kevin?
You know.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for the answer, Kevin. Give applause to Kevin. Now, this video that you saw, I want you to turn to a partner and talk about this question. This time up, guys. Uh, why do you think young Indonesian? Why do you think young Indonesian start to form organization and movement at that time? What were they feeling or hoping for? I will give you 2 minutes to think the answer, and then I want you to present the answer in the round. Let's start. If you done, guys,
Yes, sir.
yes. And who wants to present the answer? Yes, Kevin, please come forward. All right, Kevin, answer my question.
So why do you think your organization started more organization and movement at the time? What were they feeling for or hoping for?
Yeah.
So your organization began forming organization and movement, like we told, in the early 20th century because they were starting to wake up to their identity, dignity, and service destiny as the people under colonial rule. The what were they feeling for or hoping for is first is exposure to education,
Yes.
then desire for progress, and then national identity was emerging, and then frustration with injustice, and the last is hope for unity and freedom.
It's a good answer, Kevin. Thank you for the answer. Give a clap to Kevin. Anyone want to present this? Kevin?
Yes, sir.
Pastor? Kevin, come forward. Answer my question.
So, I have discussed this with my partners.
Yes.
Why do you think young Indonesians start to form organizations and movements at that time? What were they feeling or hoping for? So, young Indonesians they start organization and movement by change of freedom and progress, and there are key factors.
Yes.
For example, awareness of their generation role, desire for freedom and justice, influence of global progressive ideas, and reaction to authoritarianism. And there are some organizations like Uji Utomo,
Yeah.
Sumpah Pemuda, and Reformation.
Yeah.
So these movements demonstrate the significant impact young Indonesians can have on the country's trajectory, pushing for reforms and fighting for their rights and freedoms. That's all, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Gading. Give a clap to Gading. And now after we discuss that, and I want to explain what is national awakening of Indonesia. National awakening of Indonesia is refers to the era when Indonesia begins to develop a national consciousness. It started around 1908 when the first native political organization, Lazuardi-History-The was born. And before this, people in Indonesia mostly thought of themselves as their ethnic group, region, or kingdom, like the Japanese, Balinese, or Minangkabau, not as Indonesia. This feeling of being one united country began around 1908 as the first political organization, uh, led by an Indonesian, was formed. It educated Indonesians were beginning to think about how to improve their society, protect their culture, and eventually become free from colonial roots. This was the start of Indonesian national movement. Next slide is because of the national movement, where the perfect was triggered the awakening like Western education. The Dutch opened schools in Indonesia, especially for the children of the rich families. Some Indonesians got to study modern subjects like science, history, politics. Through education, they learned about freedom, justice, and nationalism. Ideas over Europe. That this made them think, why are we being ruled by a foreign country? We should lead ourselves. And the next is unfair Dutch policies. The Dutch colonial government made many unfair rules that benefit the Dutch and harm Indonesia. You know that, right? For example, Indonesia had to work on Dutch land division and pay high taxes. It's cool, right? These policies made life hard and created anger and dissatisfaction. The next is rising intellectual awareness. Some Indonesians, especially those who studied in the Netherlands or had higher ambition, started thinking deeply about their identity. They began to believe Indonesia should be an independent and modern country, not a colony. The next slide is important organization. We have Budi Utomo, Said Islam, and others like Indonesia Party, Muhammad Budi Utomo. This was the first native organization of Indonesia, started by Dr. Stomo and other students, focused on improving education and culture among Japanese people at first, but it inspired wider national unity later. It wasn't a political at the start, but became a symbol of awakening. And the next is sarcasm. This is a mass-based organization meaning many ordinary people joined. Started as a trade group to help Indonesian slave trade compete with Chinese merchants. Later, it became a political movement fighting for social justice, equality, and independence, led by strong figures like HOX Chokra Aminoto. Next is the organization is Initiative, a political party created by those Dager. You know those Dager? Anyone know those Dager?
Yes,
Yeah. Ki Hajar Dewantara, you know?
Oh, yes, sir.
And Cipto Mangunkusumo. It openly called for Indonesian independence. Next is Muhammad, a reformist Islamic organization focused on religion, education, and social welfare, also supported the growth of national identity. Okay, and you know this guy in this national figures, right? Who is this? Anyone know? Who is this? Kevin?
it's
Yes,
I
right.
think 2000.
Yes, right. And this one?
Yes, sir.
No. No, this is not Kina Jardewatar. No, this is someone. Who's this?
I think Cokraminoto.
Yes, right. Okay. And this is Ki Hajar. This is
I think
yeah, yes, right.
to explain what
What
is
is
Dr.
Dr.
Suko.
Suko? Who is Dr. Suko? He is one of the founders of Buddhism, believe in improving education and the well-being of Indonesia. He's the wanted people to be proud of their identity and culture. This guy is host HOA's Chokra leader of Science. He is a powerful speaker who inspired many people, including future leaders Sukarno, worked to reunite Muslims and non-Muslims for a common cause freedom. This guy is Ki Hajar Dewan. He is fought for better education for all Indonesians. He's opened schools that taught not just reading and writing, but also national pride. Famous for saying, Tukuri Handen, you know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Meaning a word from behind. This vision of a good teacher, like Mira. The next is Dustin. This guy is a Dutch Indonesian who truly believes Indonesia should be free. Help from Indonesia's politics and wrote articles and gave speech supporting Indonesian immigrants. And the next slide is impacts of the African. This period created a major change in how Indonesian thought and act. The point is rise of national entrepreneurs, formation of more political movements, laid the foundation for human struggles, and that unity across ethnic and religious lines. And I think that's all for the explain the key. Sorry, the awakening of the Indonesian. Now, I want you to take a piece of paper and make a group. Each group will choose one national figure from the awakening period, except Budi Tomo and Saidasa that we have learned today, and write a short biography in 150 to 200 words. That includes, please take note, guys. Who the first is who they are, who they are. Second is what they did during the awakening, and the last is why the students things they were important. I give you choice. Can you can you please working best? Have you done, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, um, if you have not done with your paperwork, I give you just for the homework. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and I think that's all for today. What we have learned today.
Learn about the awakening of Indonesia.
Yeah, that's right. Today, we've learned about how Indonesian national awakening helped us become the country we are now. The national awakening of Indonesia was a very important time in history when Indonesians, nation not just disparate ethnic or regional groups. This change in thinking began around 1908 with the formation of the Buddhism organization. The national awakening of Indonesia was a very important time in history when Indonesians started to realize one nation, not just part of ethnic or regional groups. This change in thinking began around 1908 with the formation of the Buddhism. And well then, everyone, and let's keep the spirit of our ancestors. And I think that's all for today's meeting. And that's it. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.